Welcome to the Emotional and Mental Health Summit. My name is Dolores Andrew Gavin and I'm your host. I am the founder of The Mythic Fairy, a dedicated children's website for all things emotional health. I'm also the author of 2 children's books, an empowerment and assertive coach, a podcaster, blogger and mum. I have 2 reasons, I guess, for doing this summit and bringing it together. And firstly, it's to support the whole conversation that's already there around emotional and mental health. And secondly, I also want to bring tools to people to show them that, I suppose, firstly, that there are tools that we can use to help us, whether that be learning something like emotional freedom technique or helping ourselves to step into our power by finding our voice. There are lots of different tools I'll share on this summit from the speakers that will be speaking. And also, of course, you also will hear from people who have been on a journey themselves. So it's always good to know that we're not alone and that others have travelled the same path possibly as ourselves. I hope that you enjoy the summit. Thanks for being here. Welcome back to the Emotional and Mental Health Summit. My name is Dolores Andrew Gavin, and on this episode, I'm delighted to welcome Jocelyn Cunningham to the conversation. Jocelyn is a psychotherapist, an author, a mum, and she's going to share with us her journey, which is great because, as promised on the summit, I was, as well as supporting the conversation with people that have gone through their own journey and given us tools, we're also, really having these kind of conversations that are going to really resonate with people. And without further ado, I am going to say, welcome, Jocelyn.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me, Dolores. Thank you so much.
Not at all. It's great. I mean, it's. I think what you have, as I say, will resonate with a lot of people. So it's the supportive conversations that I'm delighted to bring to the summit. So, Jocelyn, I suppose where to begin. Reading your bio on that and reading your story, you are someone that has actually, you developed anxiety, you developed panic attacks. And it seemed almost like as if it was out of the blue. But of course, we know that generally they're not out of the blue. They're a reaction to something that maybe we have stuffed down or something that we have gone through, like a trauma in our life. So can you let us know a little bit about your story in relation to that, please?
Absolutely. I suppose just going back to what you just said there, it is repressed energy. It's fear-based and has indeed to do with a trauma. I remember my first panic attack vividly. Actually, it was the most frightening, fearsome episode I've ever experienced. I suppose I was 6 months after having my daughter, and I was feeding her on the couch, and literally I got this tightness in my chest, and I felt like my heart was coming out of my chest. I started to perspire profusely. All of a sudden, I blacked out. Now I was trembling afterwards, and I felt cold, and I honestly thought I was going to die. It was a really horrific experience. Naturally enough, I went to A&E. They did various checks, and I was home within a few hours, I suppose, because they had suggested that it was an anxiety-based thing, and I was saying that I wasn't triggered, surely that would be the norm. As it happens, there are 2 types of panic attacks. There's the expected and unexpected. The unexpected is unfortunately what I went or suffered, and I'm still have to keep on top of things even to this day, and that was actually 16 years ago. The unexpected ones, like I encountered, it's when you're in your most relaxed state, believe it or not. Again, it's about the repressed energy stuff. There's also ones that can occur, they call them nocturnal panic attacks. When you're in your sleep, you can wake out of your sleep, or if you're trying to fall into the REM, the deep sleep, you can just suddenly develop this feeling of panic. The expected attacks are obviously trigger based, and again, they have a lot to do with fear as well, or phobias even. Like, for an example, somebody that has a fear of flying, like aerophobic. You know, a panic attack could ensue even if they were prepared and, you know, willing to take the flight. It can happen prior to, during the flight, or even after the flight. So the trigger based ones, I suppose, are easier to kind of handle,
Sure.
than more so than the are unexpected ones.
So yours
But
seem to
again,
happen.
go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, yours seem to happen, yeah, like so out of the blue,
Hmm.
as you say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me sounds
You,
like you'd query, like, was it something to do
yeah.
with, was it postnatal, or was it anything to do with giving birth and being in a more vulnerable, tired space or anything like that, do you think? Or
Absolutely. I suppose because I'm the type of person that can easily, you know, dust myself up, pick myself up, dust myself off, and continue on, you know. And I suppose maybe that's the way I was, you know, through conditioning. You know, it's something you learn, isn't it? A behavior, how to cope,
sure,
you know. And really, and I can't even, you know, emphasize the the importance of talking and being listened to. So now if I went to talk therapy, I went and did my degree in psychotherapy. This was, you know, years on, but it's really peculiar because the majority of my clients are anxiety based issues. Like it's like they're
yeah,
drawn to me. So it's such a delight when you can see a change in a person, or that, you know, the acceptance around it. Um, that they're able to cope in their everyday life and they're much happier in themselves, you know, been able to do so. It's a huge thing, you know, it really is, because at one point I was actually suicidal, and that was a really dark space because I wasn't able to control what was happening to me. And to not let it get that far, I suppose, for others, or, you know, just be, you know, teaching the people that various different models that are out there. um I suppose in combination with other models, for example, CBT is very effective.
yeah.
I love Aaron Beck's the aware model. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
What's it called,
So
Jocelyn?
aware,
Oh, okay.
where, yeah. So like the CBT, I suppose, it has five components. I call it STEPA. So it's um situations, thoughts, emotion, physical feeling, and action. Okay, so those five components, they're all, you know, uh, interconnected throughout the therapies, and obviously there's homework involved in a lot as well. So basically, what how that works, to sum it up in a sentence, I suppose, is basically getting the person or client suffer from anxiety to change their negative thoughts to more balanced and factual thoughts, you know, because thoughts, you know, but naturally enough, you know, if you have a negative thought, it's going to influence your behavior. It's going to
Sure.
have an effect on your physical being as well as your mental being, and your reactions. Everything
Yeah,
comes to play into play there. So just the realizations around that, you're, you know, this isn't something that is going to kill you, you know what I mean? It's not something physical, and, you know, it's all to do with your mind and whatever you're repressing, that fear, the trigger, trauma, whatever the case may be. So just actually a lot of grounding exercises. I would combine grounding with CBT or the aware model. Just, you know, even simple as feeling your feet on the ground, you know, and, you
yeah.
know, being in touch with your body in that therapeutic space. It seems to work. It worked for me. It works well for my clients, you know. Hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah, you know, and so going back to yourself again there, you know, you found that your first panic attack, I suppose, that like it just, I'm holding back to it because I'm sure that there are other people that will really, that will, you know, they might say, gosh, that's what happened to me. It just seemed to start from nowhere. Was it the case
Mhm.
with you that you needed to go back and find out what the traumatic event was that triggered it? Or is there a way that you can work around it with the grounding and with the CBT? Does that always bring you back to getting rid of the limiting beliefs, or to the energetic attachment that keeps you
Yeah.
stuck in the past trauma?
You see, yes, CBT works to a degree, but really the person-centered approach is so important, because you have to get to the core of why this is happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be so repressed. I mean, it could be a
Mm.
childhood trauma. And of course, as you know yourself, being a mom, there's a lot going on there soon after childbirth.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, the sense of responsibility, not only for the child, but for yourself as well. And
Mm.
sometimes you can lose the run of yourself. And sometimes you can neglect yourself because you're so all about the child, you know,
Oh
the
yeah.
child number one. But really and truly, you're number one. The child is number two. You have to be well. You have to be well enough. Absolutely. It has always to do with the unexpected ones, especially absolute trauma. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Because, you know, it's easy to develop a phobia, I suppose, if you're in a situation whereby, for, you know, say if you're on a flight or something and maybe
Yeah.
something on that flight, naturally enough, you're going to,
Some
you know, have
turbulence
a
or something.
fear.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and you could think about it so much, and then it goes into your dreams, and it becomes a part of your almost daily cognitive process, you know.
Yes.
So therefore, you know, that's the, you know, but that is manageable, you know, with a lot of homework and putting yourself back into that situation. And it takes a lot of courage, though, and it takes an awful lot of practice. You know, it's not easy, and even to this day, like maybe it was about a month ago, I could feel the anxiety coming about again, and I it wasn't a specific trigger either. It just came out of nowhere because I was in good form. But what I do is I feel my fingers with my thumb, or I might trace on my thumb, or I might touch a wall or whatever, just to remind myself I'm not going to fall to the ground, because that's what it feels like for me. I feel
Right.
like, yeah, like my muscles and my legs might become fatigued all of a sudden. And again, once I ground myself and breathe and remind myself that this is not, you know, it's nothing serious, nothing sinister is going on here. This is your mind. You know, the mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
We us underestimate the power of the mind. We do. So I suppose really at the basis of all of this as well, along with the therapy, and it has to be a really good therapist, by the way. If you're not happy with your therapist, please move on and find the
Yeah.
right therapist for you. I cannot emphasize that enough. But you have to exercise good self-care, and self-compassion is the core of that. So what I mean by self-compassion is stop doing a number on yourself. Every time something goes wrong, if it's a small thing, if it's a big thing, everything happens for a reason. And it's a learning curve. Treat it as a learning curve. Humor. Use humor if you have to. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the silly things, because you know, really, you get one shot at this life. So, and everyone deserves to feel happy and well. So why not look after
Mm.
yourself and self-care for your well-being?
I love that, Jocelyn. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, really, I agree with you there about finding the right therapist for you. And I think that, and fair play to you for saying it, because, you know, it's not everyone that resonates with this, with we don't all just get, yeah, resonate with each other. Let's say we go to,
Yeah.
we're more drawn towards one particular therapist. And it's funny that you also say that you attract clients that have gone through similar stories, because I think that's fairly normal, that what happens to us, it's like we're in this energy of after coming through maybe a trauma ourselves of one particular sort. So it's like as if our energy is there, and that's what we draw then. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing how that we can be zone in nearly, and it's not something that you probably advertise that you know that your clients are,
No.
but it's just that they'll be drawn to you. I find that wonderful, and it's so true is what I mean. And also that there are so many different types of therapies, but not all therapies will suit people either. That finding one
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
suits you is so good. And I think you, by saying that, even the simple techniques of grounding work for you.
Hmm.
Somebody else might require something else, and
Yes.
somebody else may need so much more self-compassion, and other
Yeah.
people might just have that automatically and be very good to themselves.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. Like, not everybody is, in mindfulness stuff. And I always also suggest some of the apps that are available, like Mindspace. There's a good few of them, and they're quite good. But it's a practice in itself, and it takes a while to actually get used to it and be comfortable in it. You know. Again, I suppose it's unique to the individual how they would be mindful. Like for me, it's hiking a mountain, a hill, or something. Just been out with nature. It's so grounding, and like
Definitely agree with you.
I love it. Like, and the amount of people that I've taken on hikes that are like, I'm buying hiking boots, and when are you going again? And it's just, I suppose we're so busy with our everyday lives and the pressures of modern society that we forget to go out and explore. Like the inner child gets lost. And it's
Absolutely.
very important to bring that inner child out as often as you possibly can. You know,
And bring her
it's
out
so
into nature.
totally into nature. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Jocelyn. Yeah, because nature is so
Mhm.
grounding. I'm the same myself. I think, no matter how, I actually would write a lot of my blogs and that when I'm out. I don't mean to, but it's when I actually, I become mindful with my walking because I'm more balanced and I have an idea. I don't try to, but then I'll dictate into my phone, and I'll before I realize it, I'll have like, oh my goodness, I have the guts of a blog. But it's because I've dropped the busy mind, the monkey mind that wants to just be doing, doing, doing all the time.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And like, once you have your cognitive processes under control and you're at one with yourself, you're onto a winner there, really and truly. But another form of therapy I find for people that wouldn't be or might be shy or not really good or feel articulating themselves very well is expressive art therapy. So they
Expressive
can do
art
that.
therapy.
Yeah, you can do it through writing, sometimes poetry.
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful. And or just splashing paint onto a page, drawing, using crayons to draw out the whatever, help them with their trauma to describe it. Because
Mm,
I suppose sometimes it can be so traumatic, it's too difficult to express in
yeah,
with a voice vocally. So sometimes the combination of both, you know, and it's so moving, but there's so much growth out of it because it's going somewhere. You're releasing the energy, which is
yeah.
very important because that energy needs to get out. It
Hmm.
has to get out because once it remains, the healing it's much slower, and in order for healing to occur, you have to do the work. And everyone's journey, I suppose, then is different. Some people's journeys are more lengthy, like my own ones took a good few years to feel well, and others then it can be just a matter of months. I suppose it's an ongoing process anyway. It's an ongoing journey, but just to have the tools
Yeah.
to be able to actually live out your life and feel well,
And were
you
you
know
triggered a second time around then when you had your second child, or
no,
no?
not at
Yeah,
all. No, I suppose there's a bit of gap between the two, but I, you know, mm, I could be up on stage giving a talk and I would be fine and I won't get triggered. I could be sitting on a bench somewhere and I might feel the onset of a panic attack happening. It's really unusual, but it's obviously something that maybe I might have, my dream process from the night before or something I might have thought of a week ago and repressed it. So the importance of talking again, just
right.
even to a friend, a trusted friend, honestly, or a therapist. And I mean, you're getting it out or even write it down, because it's all healing and it's not going to benefit anybody in any way by repressing negative thoughts. It really isn't. you deserve more. You know, we all deserve more, you know?
Absolutely. And Jocelyn, you've written as well you've written about you write
Yeah.
and contribute to books as well. Do you want to let us know what you have been doing, or have you anything in the pipeline you'd like to let us know about?
I have something in the pipeline. I'm in talks at the moment with book club publishing. That's around, I tweet out daily affirmations.
You
And to be
do?
honest with you, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, whatever comes to my mind that morning, I'll tweet it out. But I look for something online to complement it. Okay? But my words are my own. So um, um, somebody approached me, emailed me, in actual fact said, please consider doing a book. Because she's actually presently editing my chapter. It's called Finding That Balance to Enhance Your Wellbeing. And the last chapter that I wrote for Mental Health for Millennials, by the way, book of publishing, plug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prone to panic.
Okay.
And accustomed to anxiety. So
and that's very, that's huge, prone to anxiety. Like, what a lovely chapter to have in a book like that, because so many people are prone to anxiety and hide it so well for whatever reason they might feel, because they don't have that stuff, maybe they don't have the support. And I mean, I said, if we don't have the support, the what you have mentioned there, the tool of actually writing it down, I suppose that's supporting ourselves firstly. Because that's huge.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate, and it is absolutely ongoing, it's perceived as a weakness by the person themselves. Oh, see me as being weak, and I come across as this strong and able person. And that is, like, for the most part, that isn't true. And just realizing that, and there are confidential supports as well in a psychotherapist, psychologist. So it is really, the onus is on you as the person to actually look after yourself, because you deserve the very best. You really do. You deserve to feel well. I know I keep repeating myself saying that, but like everybody does. Don't let it get out of hand. Just don't, because it's not good to feel that low. It's just not, because life has an awful lot to offer. It really does.
And that's great. And I think so that your that book that you talk about, Mental Health for Millennials, published by Book Hub Publishing, and your chapter on prone to anxiety, I'm sure all the chapters are equally wonderful.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, of course. But I just think that that's great, that I always like the people to be able, if they resonate with you, that they can go find you online. They can definitely read your daily affirmations on Twitter, because I can definitely vouch for them that they're wonderful and always very uplifting. And like that, they're, you might have a quote, but you all have your own words as well, which is great. And it could be gratitude one day, and it could be self-love, self-compassion. And sometimes we might be having a busy week and we might read them and it mightn't trigger anything, but some days we'll read one that goes, oh my goodness, is she writing that for me? Don't we? We see what we need to see at times as well.
That's absolutely it. But that would be my hope. Even if it only resonated with one person, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good for me. I'm happy out. Because, if it makes a difference, because I genuinely want to see everyone feeling well. And like, just as we were going for the walk there, myself and Karen, hi Karen, it's just the action of smiling at people. They smile back, and they might look forlorn, or they might look like they're in another world or whatever, but just that act of a smile, it's so, and it definitely touches people, and it's contagious, because you can be guaranteed that person's going to smile at the next person they meet, and so on and so forth. It's very important that we're very kind to each other, because there's enough expectations from us, whether it's in the workplace or in society in general. And just let's get out there and encourage each other. It's why not?
Yeah, it's so true. And you've got a very positive, upbeat attitude, which is great. And as you say, you're admitting too that there are times that you still feel anxious. But I think really the point is to realize that if you have a tool, if you learn a tool, whatever works for you as an individual, you're giving lots of advice so that if it's not one thing, it's we can try another thing, and really being present with that and talking, as you say, because you often hear that unfortunately people that maybe go so far as to take their own life, even that they will have not been perceived as somebody that even suffered with anxiety. They'll have such a strong persona, but it's so outward, not portraying what's inside them at all.
Yeah, that is it. See, it's very sad if it gets that far. It really is. I've been in that situation myself, and I just didn't see any other way out because I couldn't control them, and I just couldn't live that way anymore.
What triggered you there, though, then to stop and to actually to do something?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. It was fluke, because I went to my GP. I just said, look, this is the way I'm feeling, and God bless her, she recommended Linda Lyons is the acupuncturist. I went to her. So it was every week, the acupuncture, and she's excellent because there was talk therapy involved there as well. And I feel that only for that intervention, I don't know, really, I don't know what the outcome would have been.
Well, thankfully, thank God that you're and there. Yeah, acupuncture. I have used acupuncture as well, and I find it phenomenal. It's really balancing the energies, isn't it? There and getting, as you say, the flow. It's all about getting the flow back in our life.
Yeah.
Say that again.
The chi flowing.
Get the chi flowing. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, great. Well, I'm delighted that that worked for you, Jocelyn. Obviously.
Yeah. As am I. Because look at how far I've come, and as I said earlier, and the realization around life has an awful lot to offer. So please do talk to somebody. Get out there and exercise. I don't care what kind of exercise it is. Just do something. We all have strengths and abilities as well, and talents. We all do, definitely. And just explore those a little bit, because we are happiest when we're, doing what we love to do best. And why not do more of that? Whether it's singing, I don't mind what it is. We all have our own. I love writing. I like people to be looking at me. I'm on the laptop. I throw a chapter together in a couple of hours, and I'll go back and edit it a week later. Do you know, that kind of way? But when people are watching me, they say, "You're always smiling when you're typing."
I love it.
I like that. I didn't realize it, but thank you. And the gratitude. It's an attitude.
Yes.
Every morning when I get up, it's like, okay, thank God I woke up. Feeling my feet on the floor. Isn't it wonderful? I can jump into the shower. I have a job to go to. My children, drop them off to school, whatever the case may be. I'm grateful. Everybody has something to be grateful for. You may not realize it because, there are going to be upheavals. There's going to be events in our lives that are not so nice. But it's just finding something outside of that just to bring you back into focus as well. It's another form of coping, I suppose. So the gratitude stuff, the kindness, random acts of kindness. We all feel good, even smiling at somebody when you're walking, whatever. But we all feel really good about ourselves if our act of kindness is received well.
Yeah.
We do. Experience that, whether it doesn't matter, carrying someone shopping or doing someone's shopping for them, or just a listening ear, really and truly. Even if you're in a hurry somewhere, just delay that extra 10 minutes, because that could be crucial. It could be, it could mean the world to a person. Spirituality, I don't want to not mention that, because I feel for me it's very important. Spiritual world is being out in nature. Everyone has their own, whether it's in the form of prayer or whatever the case may be, but really it's so grounding. Tap into it, whatever it is for you, go and do that. The strengths and qualities I spoke about. Connection, relationships are very, very important. So basically having a conversation, you're offloading, you're speaking, talking. I know I keep saying that, but that's what talk therapy is. Talk therapy, actually. Listening or being listened to is so powerful. Active listening is what I call it, and it is so powerful because if someone, you know, you can tell if somebody's listening to you, you know, the eye
Oh
contact,
yeah, for
the, you
sure.
know, the expressions, the questions maybe, or non-questions, just the listening. And that's support in itself. It really is. As they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. It's so true. It is absolutely true.
Phenomenal, Jocelyn. So if somebody wanted to work with you, how can they contact you?
Well, at the moment I'm volunteering in Let's Get Talking. I'm going out on my own in August. I'm actually going to be running some personal development workshops.
Wonderful.
So yeah, so I'll be taking groups of up to 12 people with my colleague Alison, and it's an 8-week course. So it's basically 3 hours, one evening a week, and one workshop, which will be a day. It'll be 10 to 5 or 10 to 4 or something like that. But it's well worth doing because, again, there's coping tools. It's all about self-esteem and building your self-esteem. There, you know, there's nobody needs to share anything around like that. It's, you know, again, I'll be advertising it in the near future, but they'll commence in August.
Fantastic. That's August 2019, because this
Yep.
this conversation will be on the website forever. It's not coming down or anything. So just if people are looking, and I will have, you can let me know where's the best place to send people, possibly your Twitter account.
Yeah. Do contact me on my Twitter account. My new practice is going to be called Stepping Stones.
Stepping Stones, love it.
Stepping Stones, yeah. My company is Dynamic Concepts and Wellbeing. So I actually work in an advisory capacity for Let's Get Talking. I help them with the fundraising, and I volunteer there as well. I help homeless people. Just for the crack, like, I know, in my spare time I actually do that's the act of kindness. I get something out of it myself, for myself. I suppose I don't go on about it too much, but so that's basically what I'm doing at the moment. And again, you know,
Great.
it's just finding time to do these things, and I won't commit to anything unless I can give my 100%, and I'm going to give my 100% when I set up on my own, because it'll be taking on clients in the evenings and then on Saturdays as well.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you all the very best with that.
Thank you.
And so people can get in contact, but let's start talking.
Yeah, Let's Get Talking. Yeah.
Let's Get Talking, and that's on Twitter as well, isn't it? Let's Get Talking.
Yeah.
And they can contact you on Twitter at the moment at Cycling Queen.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll put a link to there actually, so because it's not CYCLING. You can spell it for us. It's
PSYCLINGQUEEN.
Perfect. Wonderful. Jocelyn, thank you so much for coming on to the conversation, because I think you add so much to it, because as I say, and I'm repeating myself now, I wanted to have people that were sharing their journeys, people that have been through what we're talking about, people that, didn't just go and study in something and then see people, which is absolutely fine as well. But I think it's when, like, that was my route as well, had a problem, sorting it out, studied, and then started seeing people and helping people. It's a different way to do it, and it's wonderful, because I think your empathy then is, you really can feel strongly for what someone is going through, and empathize a lot with people, because you can remember a time when you felt like that yourself. So well done, you.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks again for being on the conversation. And if people want to contact you, I will have your details there for them. I will talk to you again, fellow Galwegian, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.